Now, whether you focus on the cloud or on-premises solutions or both, PowerShell is for you. It's the glue that DevOps IT pros and developers use to manage, configure, and automate servers and services. Here to tell us how to get the most out of PowerShell are Jason Helmick and PowerShell inventor Jeffrey Snover. Hello, my friends.
Dude, how you doing?
Look, we're going to go off script for just a second, if that's okay with you, Jeffrey. People might not know this, but like 7 years ago, you were the first guy I ever interviewed at Build, and I asked the dumbest question, and I will ask it here to you again, my dear friend. What can you do with PowerShell?
You know, they say there's no such thing as dumb questions. Well, actually, no, listen. We had a great conversation back then, and honestly, it's only gotten even better since then. When I last talked to you, I said, "Hey, you can do anything. You can manage anything using on Windows using PowerShell." But now you can manage anything, whether it's on Windows, whether it's on Mac, whether it's on Linux, whether it's in Azure, AWS, etc. Man, we've just taken this and made it available everywhere due to the amazing power of portable .NET Core. So it's doing great, and now we've got version 7.2. This is a long-term service supported version, and that's just coming out shortly. And it's an amazing release, fantastic release. And one of the things I'm most excited about is really, I don't know if you've tried it, but the fit and finish of 7.2. And that's largely powered by the fact that we're open source. And in fact, now the majority of the check-ins, the PR requests are coming from the community. So the community is just flooding in all these like wonderful little, things that we never got around to doing, they're doing for us. So it's just a fantastic release. And then another thing we did with this release was doing some deep architectural work so that we can effectively establish sort of swim lanes of innovation.
I mean, that's really cool. To you, Jason, can you elaborate? Because swim lanes of innovation sounds very flowery, but I want to hear, what does that actually mean for those that are using it?
Actually, Seth, a lot of people don't know this, but we do a lot of our work, just like the community does a lot of their work. We extend PowerShell's functionality by creating additional modules for PowerShell. It's one of the best features of PowerShell that it's extensible. And so what happens is we develop modules that you can get and download with PowerShell 7 that will add features to it, just like everybody else does. And some of those swim lanes of innovation, especially around 7.2, we just released secret management as an example, where, no more putting in passwords into your scripts. Now you can have your own on-prem secured vault to handle all of that. We've got some additional things. If you're working with console commands, I work with a lot of console commands, kubectl or netsh, whatever your favorite is. Those are problematic in automation because they put string-based output to your screen and stuff, but now you can make those commands look like commandlets and produce object-based output that you can use in the pipeline with PowerShell Crescendo. So we do a lot of development in these extra modules. We do DSC, desired state configuration. And one of my favorite features, part of PS Readline, is the new predictive intelligence to kind of assist you when you're typing so that you can be more successful.
I mean, that's super cool. There's like AI in there. There's like modules. There's like secret management. There's a ton of stuff. Jeffrey, this is like, PowerShell now has been around for a long time. Tell us about that as well as the future for PowerShell.
Yeah, so we're in November. We're going to have our 15-year anniversary. So we're going to have a little party for that. And honestly, the innovation just keeps on rolling, right? And why is that? And the answer is because of what we call the Microsoft Sacred Vow, the PowerShell Sacred Vow. Early on, it was very clear that IT pros, their hair was on fire, and the last thing they wanted to do was to stop and to learn a new utility, PowerShell. And we made a sacred vow. We said, hey, stop doing what you're doing, learn PowerShell, and then we're going to do everything in our power to make that the best investment investment you've ever made. And so when new things come up, we leverage the PowerShell patterns, we extend those patterns so that their skills, the things that they learned, can work over and over and over again, and they become more and more valuable. That's why we continue to innovate in this area. That's why we continue to have a wider and wider remit, why we took PowerShell and we ported it to Linux, because many of the people out there are not just responsible for Windows, they're responsible for the entire estate. And so we took our Sacred Vow sacredly and took this tool and made it available to those environments as well.
I mean, in general, I mean, this is really cool. Like I said, since that interview infamously 7 years ago, I have taken a look and I've used PowerShell in a ton of different, like the idea of modules is simply ingenious, that you're able to have this core that's super good and then have the ability for people to add things on. We got about 50 or so seconds. Any final things you want to add for people watching? Jeffrey, we'll start with you.
Yeah, the link. So to learn more, it's aka.ms/get-PowerShell. So go there, you can see a bunch of great links.
Let's keep that link up because that link is formatted in a very specific way, okay? Get-PowerShell. We spelled it right. You like how we did that for you, Jeffrey?
Sacred Vow, baby.
Sacred.
Verb, we're going to use it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being us. All of it sounds great. Thanks for joining us.